Hello from the kitchen. Today I am making another super underrated Christmas dessert, and that dessert is Pavlova. Okay, it's the next day. I got caught up in the meal and my day that I just did not pick up a camera, but I want to talk about Pavlova for a minute and how underrated this dessert is. When I was telling my family what Pavlova was, obviously the description is like a meringue cake, and a lot of people do not like meringues, and a lot of people I'm related to do not really enjoy meringue. And so when I made Pavlova a few years ago on Christmas, and it went really well, and I remember it being good, but no one else remembered me making that. So this time around, everyone was kind of like very hesitant about my Pavlova. So I make it, and I am fully expecting everyone to take a polite bite and then like set it aside, and that is like what my expectations were set at. And so I didn't even put the whipped cream on the full Pavlova. The way you make Pavlova is you make a meringue base, like a cake, out of meringue. So if you have made meringue cookies, it's like the same thing, but instead of little pieces, you make one big wreath or blob. I did a wreath this time. Last time I did like one big blob meringue cake, and it also turned out great. And then you make whipped cream, and you don't really put sugar in the whipped cream. This time I put like literally like probably a tablespoon of maple syrup, and that was plenty. And you whip it so that it is really like kind of firm whipped cream. And then Pavlova is an Australian dessert, and traditionally you put fruit on top, including like kiwi and berries. The only fruit we have right now is blueberries, so I used the blueberry compote recipe from a different dessert that I'm planning on making later this week. And so I made this blueberry compote to put on top of the Pavlova. And so when I assembled everything, I literally only put whipped cream and the blueberry compote on half, because I was anticipating everyone to not like it. And I didn't even like get a picture of the whole Pavlova because I only put whipped cream and blueberry compote on half. And then as soon as people ate it, they loved it, and we ate the entire Pavlova between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. Between 7 people, we ate the entire Pavlova, all of the whipped cream, and the only thing left over was this teeny tiny little bit of blueberry compote that I saved in a little mug because I think it could go on like someone's pancakes. And even I forgot how good this dessert is. Pavlova is this totally underrated dessert. It's gluten-free. It does not have that much sugar in it. It takes a while to make just because the meringue doesn't take a long time to like whip up, but it does take a long time to bake, and then you have to let it cool in the oven without opening the oven to dry it out. And so that does take a long time. I think the baking and drying in the oven part takes like at least 2 hours. You can leave it in the oven for longer. So it's not a fast dessert, but it's so good. And so many people have never had pavlova. So many people have never heard of pavlova. It's named after Anna Pavlova, who was a ballerina. And it does not taste like you're eating a meringue cookie, even though it's made out of meringue. So if you have never had pavlova, I highly recommend. If you're gluten-free, I highly recommend. If you like trying new desserts, I highly recommend. And my one brother refuses to eat blueberries, even though he is a grown adult. He does not like them. So for his piece of pavlova, I didn't put the blueberry compote on, and I let him put chocolate syrup on, and he liked it equally as much. And I think in the future, for like another pavlova, I would do like the same meringue wreath and the whipped cream, and then maybe like chocolate bits on top. I think that would also taste really good. So there are a lot of possibilities. It definitely tastes good with a fruit compote. It definitely tastes good with fresh fruit just cut up on top. It's a really, really amazing dessert, which I feel like is so underrated because like no one has heard of it or actually eaten it, and describing it is like meringue, and people are like, ew, I don't like meringue. But seriously, try this dessert because you will be surprised. So anyway, I only got a little bit of footage, and I didn't even proudly decorate my entire pavlova because I really thought everyone was going to hate it. And they didn't though. They literally ate the whole thing and like all the crumbs. Like, you know it's good when people are eating the crumbs off the plate, and like only a few people got seconds and everyone wanted seconds. It was a really satisfying moment as a baker. That was a great dessert. So sadly, I did not get like this beautiful video of me making this pavlova and decorating this pavlova. But here's my video of me telling you the pavlova was so good and so underrated that I didn't even get like a good picture. I didn't even decorate the whole thing, and then we ate it all. So if you are looking for a great dessert, a showstopper, a gluten-free dessert, a dessert you might not have had before, a dessert that is not like full of offending flavors, pavlova is an amazing option. And that is my 2 cents on pavlova, the underrated Christmas dessert. It's not actually Christmassy, although you could probably put like cranberries on it and make it Christmassy. To me, I have made it in the past at Christmas, and I think it's going to be a Christmas tradition where I make it in the future, probably for like Christmas Eve or like one of the days leading up to Christmas. Somewhere in the Christmas season, I will be making pavlova every year, probably for the rest of my life. So yeah, make a pavlova, try it out. I will put the recipe below, and it sounds weird. It sounds like things you might not exactly like. It sounds like a combination of things that people don't normally put together, at least in this side of the world. But it is so good, and also unexpected, and also really pretty, and looks great on a plate. And the ingredients that it has, like if you bake, like you probably have all of those ingredients. And if you have lots of eggs and need something to do with lots of eggs, pavlova is a great option too. Thanks for hanging out in this very short pavlova video. I will see you in the next one.